Good evening. I am the sniper. He is the pundit, and this is Top Rope Talk. Just getting you started a little bit, before Monday Night Raw comes on. Before we get started this evening, just wanted to remind everybody that we are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, DBTV, and Stream TV, and also on Twitch. You can catch this streaming on my Twitch at Denzel Sniper 13. If you catching us on YouTube, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button to Sideline Sports and hit the notification bell for all new content. It's not just us; it's also the Gauntlet. There's the Gauntlet presents Picked Off. There's the Sideline Sports Show, Hawk Talk, College Football Fridays, Pushing Back with Kobe White. You name it, we got it out there week in and week out. So please, hit that like and subscribe button and follow us for awesome material. Before we get started, how you doing tonight?
Good. And here's the thing. Wait till they see the Next Step network we're going to be on. Just wait till they see that.
Oh, yes. More to come on that one. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Wait till they see it because it's going to get better and better. And you can see I look like I'm from the North Pole, but I've had this on the last couple of weeks. I just like this jacket.
Old man, like you're in the front yard, like just kind of chopping logs.
Yeah, or shoveling snow or something. Yeah,
in the snow. Yeah, something that you already were doing at age 11, anyway.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Well, just want to get everybody. I had an idea this morning, and I was like, you know what? Now that Survivor Series is among us, I was like, you know what? Why don't we do an episode and having a great other fellow historian like the pundit himself? I was thinking, why don't we do a special War Games edition of Top Rope Talk where we not only preview the matchup upcoming at Survivor Series, but we're going to take a look at some classic ones of the 1990s as well as our annual finisher DQ. So let's go ahead and get started on our first one. So it's been signed as of the end of Monday Night Raw last Monday. So Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, the main event Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn are set to face the Judgment Day at Survivor Series. Does this have the potential to be one of the best of all time?
Now remind me of this, Judgment Day. And I'm going to say this part because there's things I've went in and out on. Does this put Rhea in the match?
I think McDonough is the other one.
I was going to say, I hope not. Just because it'd be one thing if it's like Sami Zayn. It'd be one thing if it's Sami Zayn. It'd be one thing if you have a couple others. Just for the thing. I don't want to, even Cody's shoulders just outweigh hers. Yeah. Even he's the small one. Or set them in. But I'm like, I hope, but it's like, but it's so basically she'll be on the outside. Lifting him up and throw him into the cage.
Yeah, pretty much. And and even at Cody Rhodes' size right now, because he's listed at 220, he's like the smallest guy in the match. But compared to the first time, remember when he was in Legacy, he probably was like 180.
Yeah, he is much bigger, and it's like, and the thing about Seth Rollins is. And you can see this from there is the fact that he might be 210.
Yeah.
Just saying with the thing with him. But Kevin Nash said something about him the other day. He said he didn't like it before Seth freaking Rollins. He thinks he's like the next Macho Man, like the current. And it's like, he might be a different version of Macho Man because Macho Man, he would have the capes first, then the cowboy hat and the tights. Then and then the different clothes, but he did it every 5 years. Seth does it every week.
Yeah.
So it's like, that was the thing. It might be a new advanced version of Macho Man, where it's every single week. Because like Macho would put $5,000 into his capes.
Oh yeah.
He put $5,000 into his capes, so he was going to wear the same stuff, certain things. He wasn't going to get them every single. He wasn't going to get. He probably had 10, 15, but he wasn't going to get them every single week.
Well, how much money do you think Seth is putting into his outfits? And keep in mind, the athletes now are getting paid more than in the 80s.
They're getting paid.
Unless you're Hogan.
Well, yeah, outside, yeah. The Hulk is probably the one. He probably had the equivalent of their money then. But he was yellow tights. He was simple. He was yellow tights and torn tear shirts. So it's like, but no, the big thing. The big thing about Macho, though, is like you got to realize you went based off of pay-per-view money, off of if you were on Hulk's card, which you got paid more. Pay-per-view money came 3 months later.
Mm.
So a lot of the times it's like, and a lot of the times if someone was terrible with money, they took draws out, which was the cash so they can go pay bills. Well, that get taken out of their paycheck.
Of course.
So so there was those little things like that. Now this is guaranteed money. Outside, remember Hulk had his guaranteed, and then
Yeah,
those
and
guys.
they're getting it faster now because you figure 3 months at the time period where they had to calculate all the numbers, like for the buyout and all that, the
Yeah,
viewership, they had to calculate all that, and it's like, all right, well, you guys are gonna like it'd be the equivalent of like us getting like quarterly, like money at like
yeah.
a job or something, But nowadays, those numbers, the internet era, those numbers come in immediately.
Oh yeah, and it's like, and so Macho probably would have done the whole thing if he would have had money rolling in like Seth is.
Right.
He probably would have had the. He probably would have done the cowboy hat thing with the cape.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably would have done that. That would have been a pretty cool mix, actually.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So with this matchup, and this is the second straight year Jey Uso is going to be in the War Games, and the Judgment Day. I think it was absolutely the right call. Let's kind of put titles aside, for this one, and just have them settle it in the two ring, steel cage. I mean, that's the beauty of war games. It's warfare. You know, it's not just faction warfare, but you could actually go out and just get like three guys that have nothing to do, and you can put the most random tag teams together. Like yesterday, I was actually cracking up laughing looking at, I think it was prior to War Games in '94 when the Shockmaster happened, and the funniest part about that clip wasn't even the Shockmaster and his blunder. It was Sid losing his damn mind. I mean, like, he was just, man, props to that dude being in character, because he was legit insane if you go and look at that promo.
Yeah, I do remember the promo. And I remember how funny it was when they did the whole stupid on the beach, and they was going for the bash at the beach thing and stuff like that. And they go, and here comes everybody. And see, and then you got everybody in board shorts and stuff like that. The other two, like the baby faces in the board shorts, just like, and here comes the guys in their gear. And then here comes the heels in their gear. And then here's Sid in flip flops, so he doesn't burn his feet on the sand. I guess he didn't want to take his boots. I don't know, but the biggest thing about it, they had some craziness on those times. But I have a question about this whatsoever. You had Jay having to deal with the Roman and the Solo and everything. It just makes you wonder: is this a setup?
Set up for what, though?
For Jay to turn. Go back with the deal again. It's like,
why would he? It would make no sense.
No, I wouldn't. But by itself, it doesn't make sense. But what in the world was the only reason I say it would make no sense? But that's most of creative anyway. But it's just making me wonder. It's like Cody has a situation where he brought him in,
right?
And it's that story that Trump likes to say 6,500 times in a row, the snake.
Yeah.
You trust, it's like you make him look smart. You trust the snake. I am the snake, blah, blah, blah. Something along those lines. It's like you brought me in, and then all of a sudden they come out. It's like, what's the sense they make? It's like, what reasoning to be able to get Jay without him turning?
Yeah. But on the other hand, I mean, why would you have Jey Uso go heel this soon? Why, if that's the case, why split him from his brother?
Well, it probably gave the idea of the switch in the first place. I'm bringing them here, just get the idea. Well, but then all of a sudden they're back. All of a sudden they're over there again.
Yeah, but also keep in mind that both brothers have expressed that it was their dream to face each other at WrestleMania.
Well, that would be awesome if that's the case. You know what I mean? But it's like,
so why have him go heel just to keep Jay a face, keep Jimmy a heel, have them face each other at Mania.
Well, I was going to say, here's the initial thing I also said at Mania. Also, is like you could have that match before, but if you were going to really mess around with Cody and the rest of his story, Jay stops him.
Yeah.
Jay, and they could have their magic and get their thing, and then Jay's the one that cost Cody.
That's interesting.
But I mean, it's 2 in a row. This isn't Lex Luger. Lex Luger 1 killed him. 2 would probably kill Cody.
Yeah, 2 would probably do it. Well, it is setting up to be a great match, and it remains to be seen how they're gonna hype this up going forward on the Monday Night Raws leading up to it. But I did want to go on to our next one. I want you to take a look at this right here. This is a standing image that is remembered in wrestling history because we are going to take a look at some classic war games. So, WCW NWO War Games '96. Served that still shot you just saw for our newer viewers was from War Games '96. That was when, so a little explanation. The NWO came out with their version of Sting, and everyone thought that it was the real Sting and that he had turned and went NWO. The real Sting was saying, no, it wasn't me. It was someone else. It was someone else. They didn't believe him. Luger thought that, Flair thought that, Arn Anderson, everybody, they thought that Sting had gone NWO. And then come to find out it was a clone. It was an NWO version. The real Sting came out there to the War Games match, laid everybody out, and then told, hey, WCW, screw you. You didn't believe me? I'm gone. And that still shot was him walking out of the ring. But this served as the catalyst of the beginning of one of the greatest.
I don't think it was a good BMW myself.
Yeah. Or maybe
not the Cadillac. I mean, that's what was there,
Or maybe it was a Pinto. But
who knows?
But it served as the beginning to one of the greatest storylines in pro wrestling history. A 15-month-long story that culminated at Starrcade '97. Your thoughts about this?
Oh, that was beautiful. It was beautiful, but you notice, you could bring that picture back up.
Okay.
Dude, he's in black and white. He's in black and white. It's like that just showed exactly. That's just kind of the beginning of it all. Mm-hmm. That's the beginning of it all, showing what he was going to do, But no, Sting did. I would take this way though. You really want to know what would have been best on something like this whatsoever. If they would have had. I mean, to see Sting already went that long brown hair by that point. Okay,
he's growing out.
If they would have, if you would have really done something along those lines, you could have had the fake Sting go the blonde spike.
Oh wow!
Go back. No one would have thought anything different. It would have just been the same colorful guy. No one thinks different. Sting comes out. The real Sting comes out in that. Then you, instead of the spike or do anything like that, something along those lines, it's like, yeah, we're different. Yeah, we're different. It's like little things like that. It's like no one would have thought the difference. It's like this isn't exactly Barry Windham in 1990 trying to be him. You know what I mean? Sure. Even though he's 6'7" and it didn't work. It's like no one's going to think of it like that. It's like they're just going to think, well, Sting's getting his spike back.
Yeah.
And get all that. But it's little things. It's little things like that. It's like I was thinking that could have really worked. He's in his long brown hair. Okay, he is different.
Yeah,
he is different. So that would have been. That's the things I think about. But other than that, that and him and Piper, Hogan and Piper were beautifully built.
Yes,
beautifully built. And it's like just the first match. Every other match was kind of
Hogan Piper at Starrcade '96 is a very underrated steel cage match. Not to mention it was Hogan's first clean loss since WrestleMania 6. Go ahead.
Oh, and their promo battles were amazing. Their promo battles were unreal, and it's just like, and then Ken Hogan beat him. He never has. It's like. And it's what's funny, he beat him one time ever before. It was like at a house show somewhere. I guess it wasn't even shown. But it's like he did beat him one time.
Yeah.
And it's like, so that's so real.
And then the next night on Nitro, Hogan takes the whole, personal dig and is like, yeah, I really held back on you in that match because, I talked to your son before the match and he was like, take it easy on old Pops. You know how like he used to like dig at people and of course it sets off Piper and everything and
oh, no. And here's what's funny. The thing about it was they took the tape. So if you didn't see it on that pay-per-view, you weren't going to see it at all.
Yep, that's true.
See, that worked then because there was no YouTube.
There was no YouTube, correct.
Yeah, so if you didn't see it, you never will. And it's like that was the ultimate heel deal.
And you know what? I remember that because Tony Schiavone was actually like shown as part of the program. The announce crew was showing the footage. It was just the ending to last night. And right before Hogan's arm went down for a third, you just see like the screen get staticky. And
Yeah.
it was Eric Bischoff pulling out the tape and cutting it up. And he was like, "You guys do anything like that again, you're fired," and walked off. And I was like, see, it's stuff like this. This is why Mr. McMahon came from Eric Bischoff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And those were the little things that, like, that was, see, but that's the thing, though. You want to know why I can't stand creative teams? Is because things like that came from, like, Nash and Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that would come from, and it comes from the creative side. It's like, why do writers need to be around creating things? Like that, I absolutely believe that when you see something like The Family, you know, the Bloodline, and you see all that, it's all that family. When you had the Hearts, it's all that family coming up with ideas. It's like, why do you need this? I mean, you can only, even with a company that is publicly traded, like TKO is now, you know,
Right.
even with that, truthfully, you can get, I mean, especially with the amount of talent there is now, you can get guys coming up with their own. You could get a couple of, you could do it like the old days, like with Patterson and Cornette and all them guys used to go around and they had bullet points.
Mm-hmm.
And they come up with a thing. You could do 2 or 3, but even with it now and it's so gigantic, you could do that and let the wrestlers come up with ideas.
Yeah.
You could do that type of thing.
That was pretty much the Attitude Era.
Yeah, but it's just, I mean, I'm just saying it wasn't all, I mean, they can be dumb. We'll talk it through. It's like you don't need a bunch of writers writing scripts.
No, you don't.
Yeah, and it's like, like Lexus King.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's just me, but it's like, oh, well, putting them through acting classes or whatever. No, you let these people be themselves. You made the determination of what they were going to be when you hired them. Like either they have it, not a wrestler. I know not every wrestler is going to have the it factor like a Roman Reigns or an Austin or a Rock or even LA Knight right now, right? Or even a Miz, But
you don't know which one does until you let it.
Exactly.
You don't know which one does until you let it.
You have to let it go. Yeah. Austin was 28 years old when he finally found it.
Yeah. I've been an actor. I've been in acting classes. I've been trained. The thing about it is what you and I are doing right now is acting back and forth. You're listening, you answer, I listen, everything. It's reaction. That's what the thing is. That's really what it is, and it takes a long time to be able to get. So when they're trying to take acting classes, it takes you a long time to act.
Yeah.
That's why you need to. That's why you need to let them be real.
Yeah, because not everybody walks the same path. You know what I mean? You've heard me mention this before.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Rickman, he cut his teeth. He was a stage actor. Actor. His big break finally was Die Hard. You know how old he was? 40.
40. No, I love. No, but the thing about it is, his is the favorite type of heel I love. It's like, it's the favorite type of heel I love. I don't like, it's this Jake the Snake type thing in a way. I don't like the overly angry heel that's going to yell all the time. It's like, no.
Now, I can see Jake the Snake because if you really notice, for the very most part, he was the same way as a heel as he was with a face. All he did was just attack different people.
Well, absolutely. And it's like, but I'm saying, that's what I love with the best heel. See, I like, whether it's anything whatsoever, you need to have anger be rare with your characters. I really believe that because it makes them more dangerous. When they finally do get angry. Like what'd it take? Last 10 minutes for him to lose his mind, the Alan Rickman's, Hans?
Yeah.
Took him the last 10 minutes. He was cool as a cucumber all the way through, and he was dangerous.
Yeah.
Like when he shot, what was that dude's name?
Oh yeah, the bullet through the head.
Yeah. Like that.
He
probably had a 20 heart rate there.
Yeah.
And
even when he got angry, he wasn't even really that mad.
No, it just more. It was just more. That's more dangerous.
that's just that family. Simon Gruber was the same way.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm just saying, that's just more. It's
You
just
know,
more dangerous. Jake was more dangerous.
yeah.
Jake was more dangerous when you have to go up to the screen and hear what he has to say
Hmm.
instead of screaming it out all the time. And when the rare times he did get mad,
Yeah.
very rare, you heard.
So before we go into our next topic, because like I said, this one here was the beginning of one of the best storylines, Sting's whole transformation, everything. Out of that 15-month run that culminated at the next Starcade, what was probably your favorite part about it?
Well, when he went down when he'd go down the bungee cord, I loved those because it came through. It's like he'd get that, but I like that part there. But I also liked it that he didn't get touched for a bit.
Yes,
They were beating everybody else up,
but him.
but him, and it's like, and then the same thing with DDP. That was the thing I did like with DDP is he got his revenge and he got beat up for a billion years. And you got to remember what they really, really found something with the whole DDP thing because people didn't trust him right away
Yeah.
because he was such a scummy.
And you know what? Hold off on that just a
Yeah.
bit because he's a topic coming up. But go ahead.
Yeah, but he was a scummy heel. So you notice that he didn't have any help when he got his butt kicked all over the place.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. So he was a scummy heel. Who do you trust? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say my favorite part about that whole run was the fact that all Sting ever wanted was Hollywood Hogan.
Yeah.
Even if Hogan wasn't the champion, because remember, Hogan did get upset by Luger and then he won the title back or whatever, But it was almost as if beating Hogan was more important than the title.
Yeah.
It was great that the title came back to the camp when he beat him, but beating Hogan would be a severe blow, just like Piper did at the previous Starcade. Beating Hogan was a severe blow. See, this is what I'm talking about with Hogan's character. His character was so great. Beating him was like winning the title.
And the biggest thing, I think, even if he was drunk and wasn't on his same level anymore, Bobby Heenan, we know what he did during the night that he was saying, but I'm saying Bobby Heenan constantly saying, "I told you so," without saying it about Hogan. Because you got to remember all those years when Hogan is the baby face and he's saying, "Oh, he's a con artist. Don't trust him. And he's a con artist." And then everybody's like, yeah.
And he goes to NWO, and Heenan's like,
yeah, duh, bam. Well, I don't mind him saying, but whose side is he on? That was right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right of him saying that. Good. I don't want Bobby Heenan jumping up and celebrating. I liked it, but whose side is he on? Because he never trusted Hulk.
Yep.
Never trusted him. It's like he talked as if he was the guy. Here's the thing about it. Bobby Heenan talked like he was a heel in the 80s, okay?
Yeah.
He talked like he was the heel of the 80s. He was a bad guy. He was just the slimy con artist dude. But he also was like, he always put Hulk's talents over. Always said he was the biggest name in the business. Always did, even if he didn't like him.
Yep.
But he always said he's a con artist. Always said the thing. And then all of those years later, here comes Hulk doing that again.
He's like, what did I tell you?
And then when he faces Giant for the first time, and they're trying to say, oh, he's scared of Hulk. He's scared of Giant. Guys, he knows what he's doing. He's a con artist. He lost his damn mind because you're still not listening.
Yep.
You're still that put Hulk's Hollywood over. That thing put it over because it was Bobby all of those years. Like, I've been in the back locker rooms with this guy. I know he's a cheap con artist. I know he doesn't. I know he might. I know he is not. I know what vitamins they are, and they're injectable.
Yeah. And it's like, listen, I'm the Weasel. I know I'm a con artist, but I tell you that to your face.
Yeah.
This dude is shaking hands and kissing babies.
Yeah. And see, and truthfully, yeah, I'll tell you I don't like you. See, I am the real baby face here, pal. That's what he is saying. I'm the real baby face. I'm not going to kiss babies, but I'm the one you can trust. I'm the
Yeah.
kind of, I'm the one you can trust. You don't know what you're getting here.
And you know what? That is an excellent segue to our next topic. Speaking of trust and con artists and turns and everything. So I want you to take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That is the results of War Games 97. I look back. Kurt Hennig's knife in the back broke up the Horsemen. Your thoughts on this?
That was just such a terrible damned idea. Terrible.
Really?
They did not need him. They had everything. They didn't need it. Kurt Hennig and the Horsemen would have been amazing. You have one more. I mean, you have one more deal. Yes, you could be able to get. You know what you could get. I mean, by itself, you could get somebody else. Hennig just didn't like being a babyface. I don't think.
No,
But
he didn't.
I don't think he did.
He didn't.
But I think his best babyface was when he was with Savage. That one. See,
those 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, and that no, but here's the thing. I always hated when Macho Man Savage as a babyface was a complete moron because he was. Because he kept running into the ring against 72 guys and gets slaughtered all the time. Or he kept falling for it. He fell for Jake's little deal and he kept everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, and speaking of, you remember when Elizabeth held Macho's leg to get him in trouble and he got the snake?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, what if Elizabeth went woman? And she did it did she plan that?
And planned it, exactly.
But you don't.
And that was the way to get to him. That was the way to get to Macho Man, was through his lady.
Yeah, but I'm like, what if he took Elizabeth and it turned into woman? Yeah. Like Kevin Sullivan did the woman. What if you pulled something like that? It would have been devastating, and I wouldn't want to see Elizabeth like that. We all want to believe we can rescue her, yeah. But that would have added more. But the thing is, I think what happened with that was the grandpa actually believed the whole thing. So when she got slapped, he wouldn't let Macho in the house because he didn't get it back.
He wouldn't, yeah. With this act right here, and those of you all who don't know, Kurt Hennig was on Team Horseman for the 97 War Games. When it was his turn to come in the ring, he actually he feigned like he had a hurt arm, and he actually had handcuffs in there. He goes around and attacks his own guys, joining the NWO. And then there was that, and this part doesn't get talked about enough, when they slammed Flair's head between the door. Like that was nuts. And then what was it? Yeah, they basically forced them to stay. They surrendered. Hennig joined in. The only thing that I really didn't like about that entire thing, because Hennig joins the NWO, he wins the United States title, right? And then after that, he has his matches and everything, and he's still Kurt Hennig. It's just that you didn't see him go for any titles anymore. So in a sense, you'd be correct.
Well, he was Goldberg's whipping boy.
Yeah.
But no, that was the thing about it, is you could have broke it up later and done to get it, but that would have been one more year of the Horsemen. It's like, but what I was bringing up with Kurt Hennig and everything is that was the most brilliant. Like I said, I hated Macho Man when he was an idiot, but the one moment where he was brilliant is when he gets into Kurt's head, when he gets into Perfect's head, and says, "I need a partner. I need a partner. I want you." And he's just messing with everybody. That was the smartest he's ever been. And then that was great because you don't know if you can trust him.
Right.
But no, I wanted him in the Horsemen a year, then you could turn him.
I can see that. I can see that, seeing as the next September, literally a year later, the Horsemen reunited. This time with Dean Malenko.
But I'm like, but I mean, what you could have had is you could have had it a year. Could have had it a year. He turns, and then there's Malenko.
Yeah.
And then that's when you could do it. But it's like, then you could do the thing, but you didn't need to bust up the Horsemen.
Yeah, and especially since, and you know what? I'm in full faith in saying I think the Horsemen came back in '98 because of the fans. I think the fan there was a combination of the We Want Flares. Fans were still throwing up the 4s and everything. They were already eyeing Dean Malenko because Malenko had that horseman way about him, you know?
Well, I wouldn't have called him the big partier. I wouldn't have called. But see, the standard of excellence. See, as far as the style, the only thing that killed them for being the best version of the Horseman was McMichael because he was terrible.
McMichael always fit being a horseman, though.
Oh, no, the partying he sure did. The way he dressed, he sure did. The in ring, he was horrible. He was miserable. And that's where it should have been Kevin Green. Kevin Green was a better wrestler. Kevin Green was a much better wrestler than McMichael.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, by far. Oh, my God. A little news real quickly. Hold on. Arson. There is a massive fire under I-10 in Los Angeles. Massive fire, arson.
Oh, wow.
So in Los Angeles. So there's a big old fire going on there right now under the interstate.
Oh wow! I'm gonna have to check that one out in a little bit when we go off the air. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I hate that the NWO didn't do more with him.
Well, there's too many people. There's too many
at the time. Yeah,
there's too many, and he's aging. And he was aging. He was getting a little bigger on the middle. You know, I mean, he's still as great as it ever was. But it is like, what happens if you keep adding stars on your NBA team? Like it's the ultimate all-star team, whatever. Can you imagine LeBron with James Harden, whatever? It's like, who gets the ball?
Yeah.
Who gets the ball? Who's going to be the selfless one? None of them. Yeah. That's what fans don't understand. They're playing video games all the time. Yeah. They're imagining, but see, in their video games, they're passing the ball all the time. Everybody's getting the ball. Video games ain't real life, and it's the same with the whole thing. Is Hulk going to give up his spot to Kurt for a couple of months? No. No, it's like, who's going to get the ball? That's why it didn't work. There's too many big stars.
And see, when you look at the NWO roster at that time period, how many of them were main eventers in WWF?
Oh.
Hogan, Nash, Savage, who else?
Oh, I mean, Hall pretty much. He was, I mean, maybe the next to it. Next to it because the Intercontinental Champion, he got you ready.
Upper mid card. Yeah.
Oh, the upper, very upper. He got you ready for Michaels.
True. Yep, very true.
And he would have been a main eventer if he stayed anyway. You know, he just would have. He was that good. No, but you had, and it's like, and then guess what? Then you have Boss Man in there, and you have Boss Man in there, and he faced every main eventer there ever was.
Yep.
And
including Hogan.
Yeah. Oh, those were awesome matches in '89. But no, those. No, but that's the thing. It's like you either get the main eventers or the guys who face them all. And it's all at once. And it's like, is there enough touches? Is there enough touches? It's the same as people didn't understand the whole thing. Like when Herschel Walker was at Tony Dorsett. Oh my God, unstoppable. How many touches are you going to get there? Dorsett had the lowest. He was a monster for years. He had the lowest yards per average when he was there because you don't get enough touches. Who's going to give enough?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me. So I had NBA 2K, I think 1 or 2K2 on Dreamcast back in the day, and on the Rockets, like I created my player and I created my buddy's player, and then on the same team I managed to get Shaq, Hakeem, and Jordan, and those other three, they averaged like 3 points a game. Me and my buddy were getting all the buckets.
Oh, so you're passing it to him all the time, aren't you? And he's passing it to you.
Now, Hakeem, Jordan, and Shaq, they were averaging like 10, 11, 12 assists a game.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But they were throwing lobs to me and him.
Yeah, right. It's between you two and everything, yeah. But those are the things. In video, that's the one thing that fans don't understand when they're playing video games is when they're creating the ultimate team, everybody's getting a touch. Except for when you create your own guy, if you're playing the ultimate team, everybody's getting touches. Everyone's selfless. That's not human nature.
True. And it wasn't the NWO because we know there's only one top dog.
Yeah, there's only one top dog, and the other two are top dog enough.
Yeah.
And they're top dog enough, so they're not going to give theirs up. And then you have guys who faced everybody. And then they had their own list. And it's like, there's just not enough touches.
Not enough touches to go around. You know, but you talked about one DDP earlier. I want everybody to take a look at this one. This was the scene from War Games of 1998 where they did something a little different, and they had three teams, and now with a title shot on the line. So Diamond Dallas Page actually ended up winning the match and getting a title shot against Goldberg in the main event of Halloween Havoc. So we'll take a look at War Games 98. So Page finally hits main event status. So I'll ask you, was this overdue or was it right on time?
Right on time because he was older. You got to remember he. You got to remember it was like 93.
Now remember, he spent so many years as a manager.
He did. It was right on time because, I mean, he was a manager which didn't make sense because he was 6'5", 250.
I think they finally took a look at that and was like, "Hey, dude, you should be."
Yeah, right. And then it's like when Ernie Ladd was a manager at 6'10", and it's like, but guess what? He was a manager at 6'10", but at least he was managing the Samoans.
Well, it's kind of like with Virgil Vincent.
Yeah.
Because it's like he was the manager / like sidekick to DiBiase, but they got to taking a look at him, and it's like, dude, you're diesel as hell, and I mean, you should be in the ring. Yeah. The crazy part about that, he never really got his fair shot to me because he went to the NWO and was the same thing. He was the head of security, and he wrestled a match on WCW Saturday Night like once every 4 months.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, but that was the thing. And yeah, you're right on that. And it's like, and you think about Ernie Ladd. You think about Ernie Ladd, he was a 6'10" manager, but at least it was the Samoans who were dangerous.
Yeah.
It's like, but even then it didn't look right, but at least it was the Samoans.
It was,
But it's like, but I'll tell you who didn't look right, Slick. He was 6'4".
Yeah, Dr. Slick?
Yeah, I mean, Slick, the Dr. Style. He's 6'4". He's a regular gym membership away from looking really weird out there.
Exactly.
At least he was skinny, but it was still looking. He's like an inch and a half shorter than Hogan.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's what's so crazy is like, even though, and the crazy part about me mentioning Virgil, he was a founding member of the New World Order. Yeah. He was in like the first 5 guys, you know what I mean? But he's mainly remembered for being second fiddle to $1 Million Man. So with that being said, I guess everything that we're mentioning, this is why we're so glad that Page finally got a shot in the ring. And so you figure he was in the ring in 94. He won Battle Bowl. I think he was even a TV champ. He was coming down there. He had the vest. He was cocky. He had a fat cigar in his mouth and everything. And then he became the people's champion. And you started seeing the transformation of DDP because he was like this biggest asshole, right? Until the NWO came along. So if you think about it, it was the NWO that turned him face.
And I'll tell you, and what was very, very cool is that he really sold his ribs as in getting beat up, and the fact that he couldn't wear tight tights. He had to wear loose jeans. Mm-hmm. That's how he sold. That's how much he sold. He wore jeans in the ring, which are, I mean, even loose jeans are tight.
Yeah.
And so it's like that'd be hard to wrestle in, but he sold it that much.
He did. He absolutely did.
But no, the thing about him is it was right. It was right for the Diamond Dallas Page to get, because, like I said, he had the fat cigar. I've never been a heel Page fan at all because I always thought it was out of its time. I always thought he was the finished product of Vinny Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the finished product, and
he was more the Vinny Vegas persona than Kevin Nash. Like, you think of the characters that Nash played like before Diesel, they were corny. The best. Like it was the best, but it was out of those. Okay, fine. You picked the shiniest toy in a dollar store. It was still corny.
It was corny.
When he became Diesel, that was what he needed to be. He's a big dude that started off as a bodyguard, didn't realize his worth, and then goes on to dominate. Like, he's not no card-carrying dealer. He's not no Master Blaster Oz dude or whatever. Yeah. No, Nash needs to be Nash.
And I'll tell you this, that I loved the Diesel music with, and then the jazz, the blues.
Honestly, and I may be alone in this one, I like this previous theme better. Just the diesel horn.
I like the blues. I do because it's like it
The
just
diesel
feels like
blues.
it felt like Detroit. I love blues for one thing, but
It
second,
felt
it
like
felt
a
like
truck
Detroit.
stop. Yeah.
Yeah, it felt
Yeah.
like that. But it's like, but no, the big things though is like Diamond Dallas Page was the better version of Vinny Vegas, the original, but it's still corny. And it's like it's still corny. I like Baby. You have because he's for a big guy, he's such a really good. He's a great at selling.
Of
So
course.
it's like he's great at selling, and it's like he's phenomenal underdog for a size.
Yeah.
That's tremendous, and it's like you could have gotten years out of it. I never liked heel. I never liked heel Page because I always thought it was everything was always overly corny. Yeah, I always thought babyface. I always thought babyface Page, Diamond Dallas Page was real.
He
It
was.
was real, and it was everything. Heel, like you could just tell he's a nice guy and he's trying to play a part.
Yeah. You could tell. You can tell Paige loved being a face way more than a heel.
Yeah, and it's like and it's like yeah, absolutely. And you're playing with a lot of heels love playing the heel, but they're playing such a part, and you can tell. Like Randy Orton's a natural heel.
Yeah.
He's not a good babyface.
Yeah. I actually think he's a good face, but you're right. He's a much better heel. Why?
Well,
Because he had the
he's a good. He's not a good face in the fact that it's like I don't think he likes people for real, and that's what you have to have. You have to show it.
right. Because back when he was in Evolution, you got this young dude. He always had this smug look on his face, chiseled body. He just looked like a natural jerk, right?
Yeah,
Then when he turned into the Viper, he had the look like a natural cold, you know,
yeah,
what that just kills people. Like
yeah.
he just had the look of a heel always.
That and that's when I talk about selling and when I talk about a match and everything. You like, for instance, when you went after Stephanie like he did with Triple H, that's when he needs to go. That's when the shit needs to go off. You know what I'm saying? The stuff needs to go off, and then Triple H needs to get him. And I know they're about the same size, but when someone's that dangerous, you don't need to sell to Hurricane on a Monday Night Raw.
Yeah,
If you get my point.
yeah,
When someone is if you're building somebody that dangerous, I'm talking about just building character. When you're building them that I think what they do with Gunther's perfect. He doesn't overly sell everything. He'll get his match, he'll get his everything. You don't have to have a 20 and I think Seth Rollins not everybody has to be Seth Rollins where everybody has to have a 20-minute match.
mhm.
Not everybody. You need to someone. I mean, someone just has to be dangerous.
Yeah.
Say Brock.
With Orton, it's almost like if you were to approach Evolution Orton in a grocery store and say something to him, he'd spit in your face, smirk, and then walk off. Big
Yeah,
jerk, right? Now,
yeah,
if you approach Viper Orton in a grocery store and say something to him, he'd pick up the shopping cart and hit you with it.
yeah. Oh yeah, and but the thing or the thing is, if nothing else, that he's just gonna go to his grocery store with his tights on because he was everywhere with the damn tights.
Yeah.
He was everywhere with those stupid things. It's like get him some clothes. I remember that. I remember the creepiest ad he was ever in was when he shows up with his tights on his family's kitchen table and he's sitting down like a viper.
Oh, wow.
And it was in an ad for WWE stuff, and it's like, what is he doing in front of a kid with his tights on?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Can we get off of this? We know what he looks like.
Yeah. True.
We know
Very
what his
true.
face looks like. It's like I never liked it when Hogan went in his gear everywhere, like during the '80s. It's like you're telling me you can't tell that's Hulk Hogan in his face if he's
Yeah.
wearing a polo and jeans.
Exactly.
You're telling me you can't, especially that voice, that face. You tell me you
Yeah.
can't. If you can't get him, you didn't do a good enough job.
You didn't. You really didn't. Well, our last topic, and that's our weekly finish at DQ. And so everybody, some of you at home who don't remember this, me personally, this was my favorite. This is my favorite storyline of all time because it essentially was a dream match of sorts. So before this whole buying out of WCW and ECW happened, we would all sit around the high school classrooms and say, man, what would happen if WWF wrestlers faced WCW wrestlers? And then it really happened, right? So what you're seeing is the main event of the winner take all, Team WCW/ECW versus Team WWF. And
With
so here
one
is
WCW wrestler.
Yeah, one actual WCW wrestler. And so the finisher DQ that I have for you and everybody at home, this actually should have been a War Games match. Finisher DQ.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's a finish. And and for one thing, I know two WCW wrestlers, Booker, but I mean everybody else, Shane McMahon, Kurt. I mean, put Jericho on the other side. Put Jericho on the other side. He was a WCW. There's a couple. It was ridiculous. Just move them. Mm-hmm. Just move pieces. What? That just says that. If nothing else, that just means that Steve Austin never turns heel, which didn't need to happen.
You know what? It wouldn't have happened if Triple H had not got hurt.
Yeah, and it's like there was no point. There was no point. Turn Rock. He was a better heel anyway. I think he was a really good babyface for the things, but he was a phenomenal, especially the Hollywood Rock.
Oh yeah, the cocky one.
Yes, it's like just switch spots. You didn't. There's gonna be enough. There's enough people you could have Shane in there still if you're gonna have to. But if the people we switch around, it's still 4 WCW guys.
Yeah, pretty much.
Go ahead.
And then just put them in the 2-ring, steel cage instead of, because they had just bought WCW. They had every rights to the WCW anyway. Like, why not make it a War Games match?
And I like that's the thing. I like Jericho as a heel anyway.
Yeah. Hey, now he did go on to be heel the next month when he won the Undisputed title.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's like, and then here's the thing: Stone Cold came back the next night. Back to the, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, but those are the things. Those are the big things. It's why I don't, it's like, those are the little things. This is, like I say, this is what was missing with, I'm trying to think right now. This is big time that was missing with the death of Gorilla Monsoon. Mm-hmm. It's like by itself. There wasn't, it's like, you got to remember he had legitimate stooges. They kind of get, there was a lot of stupid things that he came up with that Gorilla would have just no. No, dumb. I think if Gorilla was healthy, I don't think Vince Russo gets away with half the crap he did.
You know what? No, if Gorilla Monsoon was there, no Brawl for All tournament at all.
No, oh no, because he was a legit wrestler. He was a legit wrestler. It's like, are you kidding? That's what you would have heard. He was sick by that point. He was still alive, but he was sick.
Yeah.
But you would have heard, are you kidding? No. If Gorilla's around full time, no. Because he was a legitimate wrestler, a legitimate badass. He wouldn't have, no.
No, he wouldn't. It wouldn't have happened at all. At all.
And Vince to this day, to me, Gorilla died too early. Because even though they had to say he died too early, because it came from somebody, every once in a blue moon to say something to him that he's going to listen to. Yeah. Especially the old guys from his dad's days that he respected so much. And then all of a sudden you go from that to everybody kisses butt. Everybody. Everybody's afraid of him.
Yeah.
Vince needed somebody that wasn't afraid of him.
Yep, and it was Gorilla. The one dude in history that never was.
No, the guy carried $25,000 in cash around him with him at all times with no fear. It's like that's a mob boss looking dude.
Yeah, he looks like a legit mob boss. If no one had watched professional wrestling before and never knew who this man was, they would legit think he was in the mob.
And when he ran things, you know what I'm saying? When he ran things like the WWF president, he looked it. He
Yeah,
looked every ounce of it. I mean, like I said, he's 6'5" at the time,
yeah.
still about 350.
He was
Looked
legit
every
the kingpin. Yeah, like there's an Italian restaurant I ate at here in Houston not too long ago called Magliano's. It's actually right across from the Galleria. And like the way the restaurant is like built, it legit looks like a scene out of a mob film where like, okay, Jacob's got to go and talk to the man. Well, who's the man? The boss. You got to go talk to the boss. Oh,
yeah,
okay then. So you walk in this Italian restaurant, everything's all nice. You got the wine display, you got booths and everything. Everything's all nice, decked out Italian style. So you walk to like the back of the restaurant. There's like two dudes in suits with like pistols and shades, and there's some other guys right there, and then there's Gorilla right there with like
yeah.
this big plate of pasta. Or he's at like a long table with like his whole crew, and he's at the head of the table with like a big plate of pasta. You know what I mean?
If you were going to turn him heel, there's people thinking about it. I don't like to think of Gorilla as heel because we've been with him too long. He's like that. He's like the badass grandpa. You know, what I mean, you think of it. But if you were going to do it and go after Austin, that he could be Kingpin.
Yeah.
He could be Kingpin with everybody around him, and then Stone Cold finally gets to him, and gets his butt absolutely kicked.
Yeah.
Gets his butt. He gets absolutely. It is Spider-Man with Kingpin.
Yeah.
It's like you finally get through everybody, and he gets mauled. I mean, this is healthy. We're thinking of healthy Gorilla, who looked very. You could just see it. He's gonna go after him, and it's like, and he gets thrown through a wall, and it's like I would absolutely do that if it was healthy Gorilla. Have him. He is going full blast like he always does, like Stone Cold. Then make him real dangerous, throw him through a wall, and just like make him dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And then that would add to this story again. It's like you just think he's just got all these guys around him making these deals, and then he's that dangerous.
Yeah. Because he has that kind of pull. Because he had that kind of pull in real life.
Yeah, and it's like I would have done that. I wish he was healthy for that because Gorilla looked like he'd be that way.
Yeah. That would have been great. Him as like the boss of the alliance, man, that would have been crazy.
What would have been if, like I said, how much does it really add to his danger level if Stone Cold beating everybody's butt to the six ways from loose and taking everybody out? He goes after this old guy, and this old guy just beats him beats him silly.
Yeah.
Even if it's a blackjack, even if it's like, everything just bloodies him up.
Yeah.
And it's like that really would add to something. It's like you don't have to have a match with them. You don't have to have a match with them, but you're just saying you have to get through the whole line again.
All over again.
And then you could get him back later. But you have to go through the line all over again after you got your butt stomped.
Yeah. That'd be like playing the video game, and it's like 12 stages, and like you work all this way to get to the final boss. But the catch is, if you don't beat him, you go back to like stage 8 or stage 6.
You could tell Vince did not play video games because that would have been amazing for that. Like, yeah, it's like he has to start all over again. He got stomped by the boss. And now the boss is going to have even more guards.
When you get to him, because he knows you're coming back.
He knows you're coming back, so there's the thing. Little things like that. It's like you can tell if Younger played video games, we'd see that.
We would, yeah, absolutely. Well, that's our program for today. Thanks for everybody who was tuning in. Be sure to catch the replays on Stream TV, which are airing right now. Not just this show, but also of Confidential, as well as Sideline Sports Show, The Gauntlet, Picked Off, Hawk Talk, you name it. And so, with that being said, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube, Facebook, and also follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn as well. So for myself and the Pundit, this is Top Rope Talk. Thank you for tuning in for the War Games edition, and we will see you all next week.